Hey there, it's Red. So, welcome to part 2 of Little Red Confessions. So, this is actually a continuation of my first Little Red Confessions video. If you have not watched that video yet, I will annotate a link right about here. So, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch, come back here, I'll be waiting. Confession number 4. This one might be harder to believe considering all the work I put in probably daily to get as much time in to read as possible before I go to bed, since that's when I read the most. But I do have times, whether it's during the day, whatever. I want to be reading. I want to continue the book that I'm in. I'm enjoying this book that I'm currently reading. And the thing is, I have time to be reading that. Like, at this moment that this thing is occurring, this desire to read is occurring, I have the actual time to read. I am not doing anything special. And for some reason, I am just not. And I have no excuse for this. I have no good reason for this. It's like I want to read, but I'm just simply not reading for whatever reason. I tend to blame distractions, like the small distractions. I blame Facebook and Instagram. I'm just gonna go on there, briefly scan whatever's on there, I'm gonna get off, and then I get like involved in what I'm reading or what I'm looking at. If I'm on YouTube, it's even worse. For 2 reasons. One, I'm like, oh, one of my subscriptions uploaded a new video. How awesome, I need to go watch it. And I tell myself that I'm only going to watch maybe 1 or 2, and it ends up being a whole string of them. The second reason, and I know I'm not the only one that suffers this, suggested videos. Suggested videos are the devil. Like, they will keep you on YouTube forever. Like, it is just, yeah. I don't know if I'm the only one that goes through this. I probably am, but it's just like, I have no good reason. I have no good excuse for not reading. I'm just simply not doing it. Confession number 5 deals with reading guilt. Like, I haven't had this happen in the last few months, only because I took the semester off from school, so this is mostly something that happens during the school year, like during one of my semesters. If I know that I have a book for a class to read, or I have an essay to write, or I have any assignment, homework due at all, something that I should be working on that would be the responsible, studious thing to work on. And what am I doing? I'm reading for pleasure instead. And I feel guilt over this. But then this guilt leads to a couple types of guilt. One being guilt over not feeling guilty. I feel like I should feel worse about not doing what I should be doing, but I don't, because I love this book too much. And I'm like, I don't care, like, screw the world, I want to read, and that's what I'm going to be doing, and I genuinely don't care. And then I feel kind of guilty for not caring. But usually that one's not so bad. I don't care about that one as much. The guilt's not so bad. And the other thing that happened is where I genuinely do feel guilty about reading instead of doing what I should be doing. So this guilt that I'm thinking about and feeling, it actually disrupts my reading. Like, I'm so busy thinking about how I'm reading instead of doing what I should be doing, and dealing and feeling with this stupid guilt, that I realized that I stopped concentrating on my book and I stopped concentrating on my reading. So if it's not bad enough that I'm reading instead of taking care of my responsibilities and my studious responsibilities, as if that is not bad enough, now I am not only not doing that work, but I'm not even making any progress in the reading that I'm doing instead of doing that. And then sometimes this actually leads to a shutdown. I am so conflicted about needing to do this other work and wanting to read instead. Like, I am so caught down the middle with these feelings that I just don't do either of them. Nope. I just shut down and I don't do either. Hello, Facebook. Confession number 6. The writer-reader complex. Also something else I made up. So like a lot of other readers out there, I love to write. I'm an aspiring writer. It's what I like to do, and it's something that I genuinely like to devote my time to. So if I get a few hours where I can actually use this time to either make a dent in the book or make a dent in one of my stories, I deal with this conflict where I cannot figure out what I want to do at that time. If I'm reading, I feel like I should be writing. If I'm writing, I feel like I should be reading. My problem is that I want to do both so badly that I struggle to figure out how to spend my time sometimes because I want to do both. Now I know that the smart thing to do would just be to split that time. Take a little time for reading, take a little time for writing. Problem solved. Logically, I know that's the answer. Even when I'm going through this, I know that's the answer. But do I follow it? Nope. It's because I know myself. And I know that I cannot reasonably split that time. If I start writing, I'm not going to want to stop writing. The exception being if I hit writer's block. But, you know, if things are going well, then I am making a dent in this story and I'm going to want to keep going. And I'm not going to be able to hit that time, that deadline, and be able to switch over to reading because then I'm going to be still thinking about writing. And vice versa. Assuming this book is good, of course. If it's boring, well then it's really not a hard decision. I'm going to want to keep reading. I'm not going to be able to make that transition into writing because my head's going to be in the book. Like, my head is going to be in that story instead of my story. Just like if I'm writing, my head's going to be in my story and not the story that I'm reading. Like, I have to keep these things separate in my head because I have to have my head in the right place, and splitting that time really causes an issue there because I can't make that transition well in my head. Like, there has to be a break. And eventually I end up making a decision. I just kind of like pick one and go for it. But this is an actual temporary dilemma that I experience fairly often. Reader-writer complex. Thank you guys for coming and watching part 2 of this video. I don't know if you guys will like these little confessions or not, but I had fun doing them, so I think I'm going to continue this series and do more of these in the future. If you haven't already, add me on Goodreads, add me on Twitter. I want to be your friend. I would love to be your friend. And I will have more videos up soon, and I will talk to you guys later.